You see the smile, you know what time it is. Cole Sports presents on the Daily. Another Wednesday, another day to be thankful to be alive. Cole Johnson's on your video screen on the Daily on Tap, presented by Cole Sports. I did say it's Wednesday, right? When I say it's Wednesday, and when you hear me say it's Wednesday, you already know the deal. Let's get it started right now.
In a world where partial greatness is celebrated and total greatness is shunned, there stands to be a figure on the lips of those who love him and those who hate him. The inane comparisons to Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant continue and has existed since 2003. There is no end in sight, for the battle between those who unconditionally love and unconditionally hate him wages on. These are their stories. Welcome to the Bronzexual Confessions.
Let's start this. When I say this, Bronzexuals, you have to understand that I'm saying this with such a tongue-in-cheek. Your man, your king, your royal priesthood, not mine, that's God, but your royal priesthood had the audacity to opine, quote, our team, the 2022 Lakers, can turn our season around just like Tom Brady's Super Bowl winning Buccaneers. Close quote.
You for real?
Oh my gosh. Okay, all right. Let me break this down to you, Bronzexuals. So, in order for the Lakers to turn their season around like the 2020 Buccaneers, they had to be where the Buccaneers were before they got to the part where they had to turn their season around. So let me do a slight comparison to you here. Almost like, I guess you could say, a deliberate counterpoint type of thing. But understand where I'm coming from with this. Okay. So the 2020 Buccaneers, they started out the gate strong. They were chasing the New Orleans Saints, who were right there in lockstep with them. And before they played the Saints the second time around, because they started their season playing the Saints and losing to them in the Superdome, when they played the Saints in Tampa, the record was 7-2. I'm sorry, the record was 6-2. My bad. When they played the Saints the second time around, the record was 6-2. So they get stomped Sunday night against the Saints, 38-3. Then they put the stomping on to the Panthers in Charlotte the very next week. Then they return home to play the Chiefs, and the Chiefs got the better of them 27-24 in that game. And then the same final score happened with the Bucs being on the losing end again, this time at the hands of the Rams at home, 27-24. So that left them at 7-5. Then after that, the Buccaneers got their act together and they basically ran the table. They won their last 4 games. They won all 3 of their playoff games before, of course, beating down the Chiefs in the Super Bowl in their very home stadium to be the first ever team to host and win a Super Bowl in the stadium in which they play. Notice I said the record was 6-2 at the halfway point of the season for the Bucs. Now, if this were to be the same thing for the 2022 Lakers, the halfway point in the NBA season is 41 games. So I'll say 40. Okay. So in 40 games, if they were to have a 6-2 record, to juxtapose that to them, they would have to have a record similar of what, 31-9, 32-8. And then they take the nosedive, which this about right now they would have a 32-9 record or something of that ilk or something of that nature. And then from here to the All-Star break, they just do nothing but lose. If we were to have that type of season, then I could compare possibly the 2020 Buccaneers to the 2022 Lakers. However, bronsexuals, I want you to understand this really, really clearly. They got out the gate stinking. They got out the gate slow. They sucked. They were trash. They were hot garbage. They ain't left the floor. I mean, it's just they are now 24-24. The 2020 Buccaneers were never 500 unless you're talking about them being 0-0. But they never got to 500. They were considered one of the best teams because they were shooting for the number 1 seed in the conference. In fact, they beat the eventual number 1 seeded Packers in the regular season on their way to beating them in the postseason. Can you, Lakers, say that you've done this to the Suns? Can you, Lakers, say that you've done this to the Warriors? Heck, can you even say you've done this to the Grizzlies? So what comeback are you talking about? How in the world are you going to turn? How in the world is this purple and yellow AARP unit going to turn this season around? Because I just don't see it. I don't see it. I see a team that's going to be more of what they are, which is one that is so transfixed on seeing LeBron James get Dan and Boogie, where the others basically will just stand there as if they have cement shoes or they have super glue underneath their sneakers. And now I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, bisexuals, but we got Anthony Davis back. I mean, he looked great. 4 block shots against the Nets last night. Come on now, Cole. You got to give them props. The turnaround can be real.
Euphoria.
Look, here is my dilemma. The best player on the Lakers squad is not your man. It is not Carmelo Anthony. It is not Russell Westbrook. Your best player is Anthony Davis. And he is the only player of the 4 that I just mentioned that is in his prime. Not Carmelo Anthony, not Russell Westbrook, not even LeBron is in his prime. But Davis is. And he also not only has prime over them, he also has size over them. So what would you do if you have a player with size? You're supposed to abuse it. Use it to the point where the other team has to make it a point to stop him. Now, I understand that he comes across as like a Mr. Glass figure. I understand that.
Yes!
I really do. So now I know you're going to say, well, he'll probably give you a couple of good games, but he likes to settle for the outside, take outside shots. He doesn't want to camp up in the post and post down somebody or take advantage of mouse to the house opportunities or show his dominance because he doesn't even want to play center, but LeBron would.
This whole thing stinks to high heaven.
You hear how all of this is just discombobulated, disjointed, absolutely fraught with confusion. The one thing that the 2020 Buccaneers had was at 7-5, they had one clear direction. They knew that they had to simplify things on defense, which they did, and play as one on that side of the ball. And on offense, they knew that their bread had to be buttered by Brady, and he was going to make the playmakers do what they do, and he was also going to make the running game pop off too. All of those had to work in conjunction with each other to make them become Super Bowl champions and bring the Super Bowl to the Buccaneers for the second time in their franchise's history and the seventh time in Tom Brady's history. The Lakers do not want to play together. I want to say otherwise, but it just is not happening. The Lakers don't want to play together. They want to basically play street ball on an NBA court. And when you have that, forget it, game over. And you're probably going to say to me, well, you say the Lakers don't play defense. Look at that. 96 points to a great offense in the Nets. Congratulations. You finally had a team that plays defense. But you know what I've said all year long about the Lakers? I have said to them that they are so old, they're so get off my lawn that defense is optional. And sometimes when defense is optional, it means they'll step up and they'll play good defense in one game, but then they'll allow 111 points to the Pacers.
You've got to be joking me.
Or they'll have 25-point leads to a team like the Thunder and blow it. Twice.
This whole thing stinks to high heaven.
24-24. That does not sound like a team that's going to turn it around and all of a sudden be some team that we have to be fearful of when it comes to mid-May, late May, and in June. Stop with the parties of LeBron making one milestone mark after another, and stop saying that at 37 years old, he's pulling 33, 6, and 7 numbers. That's so great when most of the time it comes in L's. But I know you can say, well, Cole, the 33, 6, and 7 yesterday came in a victory. Congratulations. That's what he's supposed to do. That is his job. His job is to basically be the one to teach them how to be champions. However, he's teaching them other lessons. The biggest lesson he's teaching them is, I got to get mine. Y'all gonna have to get your own. And that is not what a team is all about. Study on that, bronsexuals. Ponder it hard.
In a world where logic and sense flies completely out the window, while purple and yellow glasses are donned, rises a figure who encourages ridiculous, undying loyalty.
The Lakers are like the $220.
Good Lord, I'm about to throw up. This has been yet another installment of The Bronsexual Confessions.
Well, that is what I believe. What do you think? Because I want to hear what you have to say. Like this video and share it throughout all of your social media community. Comment below, whether it's positive or negative. I want to hear what you have to say. And don't forget, hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell to get any and all content that emanates from here. I love Wednesdays, but I love every day that I'm with you, VIP. I love you dearly. And from all of us here at Cole Sports, I'm Cole Johnson. This has been yet another installment of Cole Sports on the visual and on the daily.